Hello, beautiful moms and entrepreneurs. My name is Charisse Walker, and I'm your host of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. This is a place where we come together to learn, grow, and inspire. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Hello, Unbreakable Mompreneurs. Today we have another wonderful guest, and her name is Aline Hanle. And she is from France, and she's moved here to the United States, and she has built herself a business that is so important and very, very inspiring. And it's all about learning how to have intuitive strategy. So we're going to explore that. So Aline, hello and welcome.
Hello, Charisse, and thank you so much for making a space to share and really connect with this aspect of both of us who are, mom and entrepreneurs and share it with all of your audience. So thank you so much. Yes.
Well, thank you. So tell us kind of what made you decide to come from France over to the United States?
It's interesting because I was 8 years old and I remember saying to my mom, you know what, Mom, I don't know why, but I need to go to the States. No one in my family have ever been. Like, it was kind of my mom was just like the flux, like the little flux, just she must have a dream, saw something on TV, and I don't know why, but it was that feeling, like that compass that was telling me something needs to be picked up, like a piece of yourself will need to be picked up in the States, and that you cannot find where you are. And you know how life comes up. I meet the guy in France, although I was in this little village lost in the middle of nowhere, and that guy was American. And so I came to the States. It didn't work with the guy, but it worked with the place. Like, I really said, this is where I need to be, at least for a length of time. And so that's when I came in 2001. And then since then, I met my husband, and I have two grown children now, but still taking care of them in some ways. And so this is how I moved from the French country, and then eventually we go back. Obviously, we are in between both, but that was the first move to follow that little intuition of mine that was telling me there's something there for you. Go explore, be curious.
That's great. And I really do believe that little compass, as you call it, it really is in there. And if we can learn to listen, I call it intuition as well. If we can learn to listen to that, it gets louder and it gets stronger. And so you came here, and then what happened? How did you get started and what you got started in?
Well, so I was a personal trainer for 17 years, and that's what I entered when I came to the States, and that's what I've done for a while. And then what I realized, I was specialized in weight loss. And what I figured out and find out very, over the years, but very early on as well with this feeling, is that the personal trainer that was taking care of the physicality was just not going to be enough, so to speak, because it was really more of a deeper experience that was causing the consistent bad choices or not supportive choices enough. And so I realized that there was way more of the mental aspect and then way more of the emotional management or mismatched management aspect, and eventually going down to who we think we are, who we need to be, and how it plays out. And so I started diving deeper into who I was and finding out more about, how can I attain or help my clients to be more holistically looking at themselves. And it came out as I really moved into the more soulful emotional management and mental coaching. And by nature, the physicality was just aligning with it. So I spent less time training people on how to control their weight or manage their weight, and helping them reconnecting with their joy, their natural sense of purpose and connection to themselves. And that was an unfolding after that led me to know, I need to take more, to spend more time taking care of that aspect in my audience than taking care of the physical body. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And it's so true, because, I used to be this really skinny little thing, and then some stress happened and trauma myself. Right. And so I went to what I've never gone to before, which was the cupboard. And anytime I got upset, it's like, and I realized, oh my gosh, what am I doing? It took years. Right. So I'm on a different path and journey, but that is so important, what you're doing, and everybody needs it. So I don't think
Absolutely.
I'd let you really talk about what you do. So will you please introduce yourself? I apologize.
Yes, no, absolutely. So I have created this soul-led or this conscious lifestyle coaching
Mhm.
um, company that is really focused on designing tool, processes, systems, strategies, and experiences to facilitate that reconnection between the soul aspect of us, the really deep, authentic, I call her the queen,
Mhm.
aspect of ourselves, so that we can really manage our choices, our decision through that aspect of us that is really the one that knows ourselves the most. And by default, because our choices will be connected to who we truly are, we are going to experience more this sense of freedom, of alignment, of authenticity, of purpose and meaningfulness. And then when everything comes from this, there is a sense of effortlessness to who we are, which unfold in our relationship with our loved ones, our family, our technically, ultimately with our community. And,
Mhm.
here's my big visionary self with the world, this
Yeah.
is how you change the world. And so to me, it's, I dedicated the last 20 years of my life to create intuitive strategies to really support an individual and also collectively in groups, companies, corporation, entrepreneurships, in finding out like how can we reconnect the dot to live more essentially, so that we don't have to push and pull as much, and there's much more, the efficiency of who we are and how we can use and dedicate our time, energy, creative forces. It's just it makes a lot of sense to me. So yeah, this is what I do.
And that, I think, again, is a message in my podcast, is finding your true authentic self and then following that self. Because as
Mhm.
moms, a lot of times we put our lives on hold. Well, I'll go to the gym when my kids are all in school, or I'm going to go, I'm going to do this. Like I used to be the ballerina, and I would love to take not ballet classes, actually belly dancing classes, right? But I put it off for
Ooh,
years, right? And it's not for anything other than get my abs in shape. But
sure.
it's so easy to use the excuse, I'm a mom, so I'm just going to wait, or I'm a mom, so I have to do this, or I'm a mom, so I have to do the responsible thing. And we give and give and give and give, and yet if we would have so much more peace if we followed our inner guidance, right? So,
Absolutely.
what is something that you would give, like some advice that you would give somebody who's struggling in their life right now?
Mhm. Mhm. Well, what I would remind them is to look at because usually there's one aspect of our life that is more in our face to let us know, oh, like my relationship is not going well, my health is not going well, my relationship with my kids, I don't feel empowered as a mom because I'm stretched thin.
Right.
It can be, financially, like there's always one aspect that is going to be the kind of like the ignition to our awareness to let us know something's got to give. And what I always help people start with, women remind themselves, is that whether it is the mom, the friend, the daughter, the sister, the wife, the common denominator to all of these roles that we are choosing to play is the woman.
Yeah.
And then if the woman is taken care of, all of the other aspects will be taken care of. And so, like one of the big questions is, who am I as a woman?
Mm-hmm.
And very often it's a big
Wow.
question mark that starts because, like, I don't know. And that is fine. And very often the reason why we need to actually dedicate our time to the mother, to the roles, to the business owners, it's because we're so scared of looking at that question and not having the answer.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And so you spend your time like just spinning your wheels because you're afraid to actually take action of where you need to be. Oh my gosh,
Exactly.
that's so fantastic and very, very true.
Yeah. Right.
It's the
Yeah.
question mark. And I think a lot of times, like that's the excuse. We hide behind being the mom, or we hide behind the wife,
Yeah.
or the label, so that we don't have to come to terms with who we really are,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
that might be scary.
Yeah,
What we
absolutely.
want.
And exactly. And to me, this is also part of the beautiful work and that I love doing, is that just like a child, like when we have our children who were scared the first time, and I can remember it, it's visceral to me. Like I remember like the first anger, the first fear, the first like emotional outburst. The first step is to re-provide safety.
Right.
So that these emotional experience can move through instead of being held into the physical body, literally. And I do feel that this is also part of where I see my role is how can I create these safe sanctuaries for these women to just want not only to come and be curious about, hey, how can I start to take care of myself, but want to come back over again and again and again, because not only it is safe, but then it is fun. And so if it's safe and fun, it's the perfect space for a child to actually want to go back, right? So if it's true for a child, it is true for me too. My inner child wants to feel safe and have fun while evolving. And so I would always advise women who are finding themselves in a little bit of a predicament in their life right now is to like, what is it that, who is it around me? Who do I know that can make me feel safe and light at the same time? Because that's really a beautiful space to start feeling spacious with ourselves, and so that we can do that self-awareness, self-discovery through curiosity of ourselves, right? So
that is like such a deeper level of thinking, because you know, you hear look at your 5 friends who you surround yourself and spend the most time with, and that's how you that's who you are, that's how you define yourself. But let's go deeper. Why are you hanging around those 5 people? What are you doing? And do any of them make you feel light? Do any of them make you feel happy? Do any of them make them feel safe? And, you know, what happens to those people that would say, I got to come to terms with the fact that my support system, my group doesn't make me feel happy. They don't make me feel safe. What would your advice be?
Well, you know, I would first let this woman be gentle with ourselves. Is that we have attracted to us those who we perceived, you know, are safer in who we are at that moment. So let's say that these 5 people, through that awareness, we're realizing, oh my gosh, these 5 people, these 5 women are not actually, they don't have my back really. They're not making me feel safe. We have brought these women to us because they are mirroring the aspect of us that try to escape ourselves. So we first need to have these compassion aspects, like, yeah, you didn't do it because you're a bad person, because you're not, you know, like you are educated, smart, you know, it is because it was a strategy to manage these emotional truth or belief that you have right now, these experiences that you have. And that's a beautiful strategy. But at the moment that we are aware that the strategy is simply a way to control something, we have to start looking at a deeper strategy. And that's what I would really invite people to do. It's like, then in the world of imagination, who would be your 5 best friends?
I like that.
And so literally to start imagining this world where when you are safe and light and you're surrounded by these 5 women who, once again, it may be a complete projection, you know, in my mind, it's like, oh, you know, Julia Roberts would be my, like, because the way I think she is, like, that would be my best friend. It's probably not going to be, because that's not her. But in my view, it would be like, I would have these 5 women because one is joyful, one is authority, the other one is integrity, the other one is compassion, this one is resilience, and literally surround ourselves with these major queen-like energies that we need to start looking in ourselves, obviously. And that's how we're going to attract this next level of friends who are really aligning with these new versions of us.
That is so interesting, because I'm one of those that, because like I talk about in my book, but I did not trust for a long time, and because I was hurt in elementary school, and so I like cut people off, and then I'm good by myself. I don't need anyone. And my husband's always like, Charisse, you know, you need to go out with friends. Don't you want to? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good at home with my kids, with you. You know, I don't need to have girlfriends, right? And a couple of years ago, I started investing a whole lot of money into different mastermind groups and things. And I started finding my, as I would call it, well, I don't think we're supposed to say the word anymore, but my tribe of people, right? And so it's interesting, like it was an expensive way to find them. Don't always recommend it. But what I realized is who I am today, I'm a totally different person. And the friends that I had before, I mourn the loss of that, but I realized that it was not serving me, that they were actually using me. And so it's been such a freeing experience. But to actually like sit down and take a minute to write down who do I want, what type of person, never even thought of that. So that's good.
Voila.
You can manifest it, you know? So good job.
Yes. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So I talked about intuitive strategy. I kind of mentioned it, but why don't you define that for us? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so the intuitive strategy, what I love about this combination of words is that strategy is, there is this duality aspect in that definition, one that is very structural, the strategy, which gives our sense of self some kind of a safety that we don't know what that is, but if there's a strategy, there's a logic to it. So it provides us to look like there's a logic to intuition. Is that possible? Intuition doesn't think like this, like fluffy, elusive, intangible. So how can intuition and strategy can go together? It actually is. Why? Because technically intuition is just a series of information that are available just at a level of consciousness that is greater than what our conscious mind has access to at that moment. And so my work has been to design experiences and processes that facilitate the pooling of this information into our consciousness. And how do? Because we are bringing them to us because we are safe, feeling safe and light. And so usually playfulness is the way for me to really create the safe space to open up to new possibility of who we are, therefore new sense of information, right? So I, for example, created a game. It's called the Cosmic Compass. And so why would therapy or self-awareness or self-discovery have to be heavy and burdening and traumatic? And it doesn't have to be. In my world, it was just like, can it be light and fun and enjoyable and connected and soulful? Yes. How do I do this? Well, I created. So I designed a board game where we play with, you can do it on your own, but you can play, which is very powerful, with a group of women, which I use in my mastermind, for example, to dive deeper into who we are. And it is just such a soulful experience that is effortless in the way that we are opening to more of ourselves without having to work hard at it or pour our heart at it. It's just everything is naturally open by the design. That's a game. And game is all about supporting the inner child who desires to always learn more because he has curiosity and fearlessness in its quality.
I love that. What's the name of the game?
Right? Oh, look at this. I'm going to show it to you. It's right there.
Okay.
It's called the Cosmic Compass.
I love it. Okay.
Right? And so this is the game. So
nice. Put it the other way.
Yes.
Up. That's so cool. Yeah.
There you go.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So, and there's a series of these experiences, and even during the retreats that I offer, it's always offered in a space where come and find the lightness and the fun, the joy in it, in order for you to find yourself. So that really is with that spin that comes up. So this intuitive strategy is really about facilitating what is already here, but we are not necessarily conscious of, and that when we start pulling this information and factoring them into our daily life, everything unfolds connected with purpose and with meaningfulness.
I love that. So what makes life extraordinary for you?
Well, the life extraordinary for me is that life is, for all of us, very ordinary. Every day we do a lot of the same thing over and over again. What I reconnected with is I am the extra. And I put myself wholeheartedly in the ordinary of my everyday life. I still do the same thing every day: brush my teeth, clean my bathrooms, and take care of my dog and walk with my dog. But what's happening is the way Aline shows up at the center makes it extraordinary, because it's not Aline, it's the joy of being Aline. It's the energy that is really concentrated of like this consciousness to be really amazed systematically, literally like a kid who would look at a rock and just like, oh my gosh, this rock, like where we are just amazed. Like as children, I remember this moment when it was like, oh my gosh, look at this pen, this is amazing. And when we stop dropping this awe about our everyday life, well, we start distancing ourselves from the magic that actually exists in everything, and cultivating this extra vision to me to look at life in its magic every single time and make it a practice. It's like, where is magic? I know it's magical. Where is magic? It's playing hide and seek with me. Watch me playing with it. And really systematically pulling it that way while we stay young, like for a very long time, right? So to me, this is experiencing extraordinary, is the capacity to systematically go back to look at magic in the moment. And if something shows up that doesn't feel or look like magic, the work is to go deeper, to go find it.
I love that. You have so many golden nuggets. It's just fantastic.
Thank you so
I can
much.
talk forever. I'm like,
I know.
All right. So my last question that I always ask my guests is, if you were sitting on a park bench and you look over and your 18-year-old self is there, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Look for joy, soul, and connection.
I love that. Because you will,
that would be,
you know, we find what we're looking for. So if we find the negative, and like for me, that was something I really had to overcome. And I should say I now have friends, because I didn't for a long time, right? But it's because I realized I don't need to punish myself and the people around me because of what happened to me in such a younger grade. And so that's the joy, that's the excitement, that's what really does matter. So
wonderful.
it's fantastic. Well, if people wanted to find you, which I'm sure they want to, how would they get?
Then they can find me primarily through my website. It's called experienceextraordinary.com. And I engage you, really invite you to reach out to me directly using the Let's Connect page, because there's no greater way to really, for me to be useful, to be of service, than to answer a question that you may have. So ask a question, go dare yourself, have the courage to knock at the door. I promise I will open, and we're going to have fun. And you can also find me on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook at Aline Hanle. And if you do, you may want to go with me to explore Italy in June, or France, or some other extraordinary fun retreats to find yourself and meet your soul.
I love that. That's fantastic. And then can we buy your game too? Where can you buy?
So I have an entrepreneur, I would say like a good thing that happened, because I sold out. And so I am right now in the remaking of the game, and in a version of it's like a travel version, so it's lighter than the big game. And I actually started a Kickstarter that's for it. There's still, I think, a couple of weeks. So if you want to support the game, and because you want it, which I totally obviously support, I may be biased, but then you can go on the Kickstarter looking for the Cosmic Compass and go support. And then in the support, you can actually have a session with me. So that can be something to want to participate, to also give back to you.
That is fantastic. Well, it has been a true joy. As you say, find your joy and your passion. And it is so nice to know that, we still, even if we're moms and we feel bogged down, we still need to find the extraordinary, the happiness, the magic, and the goodness. And it's still important to play. So
absolutely. Yeah, let's play our way home. That's what I said.
All right. Well, the links
thank
will
you
be
so
below.
much, Charisse.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Yeah.